Stages Theater was founded in 1993 by Brian Kojac. The goal was to establish and maintain an aggressive production schedule for the purpose of accelerating the development of the artists involved. Stages Theater was located in an industrial complex in Anaheim, California, and sat 50 to 60 patrons depending. In 1993, Stages Theater produced 26 primetime and late-night productions. This one act was adapted from a short story and opened for another Woody Allen one act in the primetime slot. As a reminder, this is a theater production, designed and intended to be performed for a live audience. This video is a record of the production, but unfortunately the lighting, sound quality, and the camera's focus, or lack thereof, cannot compare to the actual live performance experience.
One thing about being a private investigator, you gotta learn to go with your hunches. That's why, when a quivering pat of butter named Word Danforth walked into my office and laid his cards on my table, I should have trusted the cold chill that shot up my spine.
Harold?
He said,
Brad Harold?
"That's what it says on my license." I owned up.
You gotta help me. I'm being blackmailed. Please.
He was shaking like the lead singer in a rumba band. I poured him a glass of rye I keep handy for non-medicinal purposes and slid it across the table. Suppose you relax. Tell me all about it.
You won't tell my wife?
I can't make any promises. He tried pouring a drink, but you could hear the clicking sound across the street. And most of the stuff wound up in his shoes.
I'm a working guy, yeah.
He said,
Mechanical maintenance. I build and service joy buzzers. You know those fun little gimmicks that shock people when they shake hands?
"So,
Yeah, they're executive types like them, particularly on Wall Street.
get to the point."
I'm on the road a lot. You know how it is, lonely. It's not what you're thinking. You see, Harold, basically, I'm an intellectual. Sure, I could get all the bimbos he wants, but the really brainy women, they're not so easy to come by on short notice.
Keep talking.
I hear about this young girl, 18 years old, Yasser student. For a price, she'll come over and discuss any subject. Proust, Yeats, anthropology, exchange of ideas. You see what I'm driving at?
Not exactly.
I love my wife, don't get me wrong, but she won't discuss Pound with me or Elliot. I didn't know that when I married her. You see, Arrow, I need a woman who's mentally stimulating, and I'm willing to pay for it. I don't want an involvement. I want a quick intellectual experience, and then I want the girl to leave. Hi, Sarah, I'm a married man. craving I call Flossie. She's a madam with a master's in comparative lit. She brings over an intellectual.
Shah. He was one of those guys whose weaknesses was really bright women. I felt sorry for the poor sap. I figured there must be a lot of jokers in his position who are starved for a little intellectual communication with the opposite sex, would pay through the nose for it.
Now she's threatening to tell my wife.
He said, "Who is?"
Flossie! She brought the motel room. She has tapes of me discussing the wasteland and styles of radical will, and we really got into some issues. She wants 10,000 or she goes to my wife. You gotta help me, Harold! You gotta help me!
The old call girl racket. I heard rumors that the boys at headquarters were onto something involving a group of educated women. But so far, they were stymied. Get Flossie on the phone for me.
What?
I'll take your casework, but I get $50 a day plus expenses. You'll have to repair a lot of joy buzzers.
That won't be $10,000 worth.
He said with a grin, and picked up the phone. Dialed the number. I took it from him and winked. I was beginning to like him. Wait a minute. Let me see this script. Winked. Beginning to like him. I tenderly caressed his... Hey! Could we just skip this part? Seconds later, a silky voice answered. I told her what was on my mind. I understand you can help set me up with an hour of good chat, I said.
Sure, honey. What did you have in mind?
I'd like to discuss Melvin.
Moby Dick? Or the shorter novels?
What's the difference?
Price, that's all. Symbolism's extra.
What'll it run me?
50, maybe 100 for Moby Dick. If you'd like a comparative discussion, Melville versus Hawthorne, that can be arranged for 100.
The dough's fine, I told her, and gave her the number of a room at the Plaza.
Would you like a blonde or a brunette?
Surprise me, I said. Hung up. I say, grab some black coffee. And make my way over to the hotel. When I got there, I made myself comfortable. Well, I checked over the Monarch College outline sheet. Hardly an hour had passed before there was a knock at the door. I opened it. And in walked a young redhead who was packed in a top like 2 big scoops of vanilla ice cream.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
They really knew how to appeal to your fantasies. Short, straight hair, leather bag, silver earrings, no makeup. I'm surprised you didn't get stopped walking into the hotel dressed like that, I said. The house dick can usually spot an intellectual.
Blind spot usually pulls them.
Shall we begin? I said, motioning her to the couch. She lit a cigarette and got right to it.
I think we could start by approaching Bill Bugge as Melville's justification of the ways of God to man. Yes, Pop?
Interesting, though not in the Miltonian sense. I was bluffing. I wanted to see if she'd go for it.
No. Paradise Lost lacked the substructure of pessimism.
She said. Right! Right! Oh my God, you're right. I murmured.
Melville reaffirmed the virtues of innocence in a naive yet sophisticated sense. Don't you agree?
I let it go on. She was barely 19 years old, yet she'd already developed the hardened faculty of the pseudo-intellectual. She rattled off her ideas glibly, but it was all mechanical. Whenever I offered an insight, she faked the response.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes, Amy! Oh, yes, Sarah, that's deep. A Platonic comprehension of Christianity. Oh, why didn't I see that before?
We talked for about an hour, and then she said she had to go. She stood up, and I laid a C-note on her.
Thanks, honey.
There's plenty more where that came from.
What are you trying to say?
I piqued her curiosity. She sat back down. Suppose I wanted to have a party, I said.
Like what kind of party?
Suppose I wanted Catcher in the Rye explained to me by two girls.
Oh, wow.
If you'd rather I forget,
No, you have to speak with Lawson.
she said.
It'll posture.
Now is the time to tighten the screws. I flashed my private investigator badge and informed her it was a bosh.
What?
I'm fuzz, sugar, and discussing Melville for money is an 802. You can do time.
You louse!
Better come clean, baby. Unless you want to be telling your story down at Random House, and I don't think they'd be too happy to hear it. She began to cry.
Don't turn me in, Arrow!
She said,
I needed the money to complete my master's. I've been turned down for a grant twice.
it all poured out. The whole story. Central Park West upbringing, socialist summer camps. She was every Dane you ever saw waiting in line at the Russian tea room. Or penciling in the words, yes, true, very true, in the margin of some book on Thoreau. Only somewhere along the line, she'd made a wrong turn.
I needed the cash. A girlfriend of mine said she knew a married guy whose wife wasn't very profound. He was into Yates and she couldn't have it. I said, sure. For a price, I'll talk Yates with him. I was nervous at first, and I faked a lot of it. He didn't care. My friend said there were others. Oh, I've been busted before. I once got caught reading commentary in a parked car. And once I was stopped and frisked at the Library of Congress. One more time, and I'm a three-time loser.
Then take me to Flossie. She bit her lip and said,
The Hunter College bookstore. It's a front.
yeah?
Like those bookie joints that have the barber shops out front for show? You'll see.
I made a quick call to headquarters. And then said to her, okay, sugar, you're off the hook. Just don't leave town. She tilted her face towards mine, grateful.
I can get you pictures of Dan Quayle reading.
She said. Some other time. I walked into the Hunter College bookstore. The salesman, a young man with sensitive eyes, came up to me. Can I help you? I'm looking for a special edition of advertisements for myself. I understand the author had several thousand gold leaf copies printed up for France.
I'll have to check.
He said.
I got a Watts line to Mailer's house.
I fixed him with a look. So he sent me, I said.
Oh, in that case, go on back.
He pressed a button, and a wall of books opened. Bustling pleasure palace known as Floss's. Red flock wallpaper and a Victorian decor set the tone. Pale, nervous girls in black rimmed glasses and blunt-cut hair lolled about on sofas. Rifling penguin classics provocative. A redhead with a big smile winked at me, nodded to a room upstairs and said,
William Shakespeare?
But it wasn't just intellectual experiences. They were peddling emotional ones too. For $50, I learned you could.
Relate without getting close.
For $100, a girl would lend you a Chopin records, have dinner, and then let you watch while she had an anxiety attack. For $150, you could watch PBS with twins. For $3 you got the works. A thin Jewish brunette would pretend to pick you up at the Museum of Modern Art. Let you read her masters. Get you involved in a screaming quarrel at a lathe over Freud's conception of women, and then fake a suicide of your choosing. The perfect evening. For some guys. Nice racket. Great town, New York.
Oh, God. Like, what you see?
A voice said behind me. I turned. And suddenly found myself standing face to face with the business end of a 38. Now, I'm a guy with a strong stomach, but this time it did a backflip. It was Flossie, all right. The voice was the same, but Flossie was a man. His face was hidden by a mask.
You'll never believe this,
He said.
but I don't even have a college degree. I was thrown out for low grades.
Is that why you wear that mask?
I developed a complicated scheme to take over Hollywood, but it meant I had to pass for Sharon Stone. There's a man in Juarez who gives people famous features for a price, but something was wrong. I came out looking like Dom DeLuise with Brenda Vaccaro's voice. That's when I turned to the other side of the ball.
Quickly, before he could tighten his finger around the trigger, I went into action. Heaving forward, I snapped my elbow across his jaw. I grabbed him and began being him repeated. I gave him an uppercut that started in Cleveland, stopped in Kansas, and pulled into LA at 9:15. He hit the ground like a ton of bricks. He was still whimpering with Mac and Lumpy. Nice work, Arrow. Mac said.
Yeah, nice work.
Lumpy added. Thanks, boys. How are things down at headquarters?
Oh, pretty good, you know.
Lumpy!
Sorry.
talk with him. Let's move this guy.
Watch the hair, boys.
Later that night, I looked up an old account of mine named Valerie. She was a blonde. She graduated cum laude. The difference was, she majored in physical education. It felt good.